Welcome. Welcome, one and all, to unboxing. This is predominantly going to be an unboxing video of beers that were given to me by Steven. We all know Steven. He's our favorite beer guy, especially us beer tubers, because he is like the giving tree when it comes to awesome beers and all those kind of fun things. But it's also going to be a small, subtle recap of BeerTuberPalooza 2022. So, for those that don't know, a few years ago, I decided to kind of extend an invitation to a bunch of beer tubers to gather and hang and just, review beer, hang out, enjoy, just kind of commiserate. Is that the right word? And just kind of do our thing. And first year was pretty awesome. We skipped 1 year because of the pandemic, and last year was even awesomer. New blood every year, and but last year I decided that it was kind of too much for me to do at my place because they were pretty much all done here. They were all done here at my farm. Previously, but with having a baby and being older, it just got to be a ton. Clayton saying, "What's up? What's going on, homie? Hope you're well." And he said, "Yeah, big win for your Dolphins, dude. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me." I'm not surprised. Let's put that. We'll get into that, but so yeah, we decided to do it kind of like in a pseudo centralized location this year. Kind of drew, a line to the center point of all of us, and that kind of led to Albany, which is oddly enough, Kyle from No Hype Beer Reviews. That's his stomping grounds now. He used to live in Binghamton, now he's out in Albany way, and it was kind of about 3 hours from everybody else but him, and ended up being really fun, as these things are want to be. So the whole thing was all meet up on Friday, hang Friday, Saturday, come home Sunday. I decided to add a little bit more to that trip for me. I ended up trying to book podcasts, 3 podcasts I actually ended up trying to book. The first one I did was Plan B Brewing with Evan and Emily from Plan B. And they were like, "Hell yeah, let's do it to it." And I set that up for a Thursday. And then I set up a podcast with Steve from Fidens. Thanks for the shirt, brother. He was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, let's do this." And we set that up for today on the Sunday after BeerTuberPalooza. I sound hoarse and everything. That's because just when you scream at each other for like 2 days straight, your voice sucks. And okay, this is Dan from FLX. He's like, "I went with the Vikings to pull out my rear and last man standing. Always fun times. Pleasure hanging with y'all." Same with you, brother. And then the third podcast I tried to set up, which was with Delaware Supply. It's actually honestly one of my favorite tap rooms I've been into, or beer bars, I should say, more than tap rooms that have been in quite some time. They were doing Swansea Day on Saturday. I tried to be like, "Hey, Friday, you guys want to do it?" But they didn't even get back to me. But I ended up talking to the owners while I was there, and they're like, "Yeah, we're so sorry we didn't get back to you. It's just been insane." And I'm like, I was trying to do too much myself. I'm like, I totally understand. And I'm kind of glad they didn't do it because it would have been way too much for me. So anyway, to recap a little bit more kind of precise, I ended up coming up Thursday to that area. Even rewind a little bit sooner. The whole impetus or the whole reason we all hang out is to crush beers. We all hang out, review, and have fun and talk about beer. So I cultivated not a ton of beer. There's way too much beer comes to this thing, like way too much. Like probably like 3 refrigerators worth of beer. And so I tried to be like kind of like reserved. I'm like, I'm gonna bring like a huge cooler worth of beer, not like 5 coolers. Just this is what I think people will dig. Put that together, got in my car, went up to Plan B, did a podcast with Evan and Emily, one absolutely beautiful. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. And what happens? He's like, here, take this Magnum, take this beer, take this. So I'm like, oh, I have more beer now. Okay. I know this sounds like, totally like the worst problems ever. But anyway, ended up, Cameron chiming in. Because Cameron, something that Packers just barely squeezed out a win over the Bucks. I've been going through Premier League withdrawals. Yeah, to a certain extent. With the Queen Mother dying, there was no Premier League, and then we have the interlull going on right now. But honestly, like, as long as Arsenal keep doing what they're doing, I'm good to go. So I'm not struggling. You're probably struggling because you want Chelsea to be decent. Anyway, and then ended up kind of staying the night in Kingston, New York, which isn't too far away from Poughkeepsie, which is where Plan B is, and like only about an hour away from Albany. So I left Plan B. I went to Suarez, chugged a beer there, got some cans, went to Kingston, and hung out with my friend Ben. Actually met him at a brewery kind of like works with a little bit, and it was really good. Kingston Standard is the name of the brewery. If you're ever in that area, check them out. The beers were really nice. They had a really awesome mixed culture beer, but they also had like Shores beer and ESB and stuff like that. And then we went to Keegan Ales. Keegan Ales is like an old school brewery. It's not like the coolest brewery in the world, but one of the reviews I did quite some time ago was their barrel-aged mother's milk, and I ripped the shit, not necessarily out of the beer, but they wax top, flip top Grolsch top, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Why would you do this? It just makes it like infinitely hard to get into. And Tommy Keegan ended up writing me and be like, hey man, it is what it is. We're just, trying to do our thing. And it was really, really awesome email that he sent me. Very kind of like welcoming and whatever. And he basically just said, and he's like, you know what, next time you're in Kingston, you have to stop by. We'll chug a beer, we'll talk and just chill and stuff like that. And I thought that was a really nice email. And I literally said, I'm like, dude, I promise you next time I'm in Kingston, I will come by and I will rip a beer with you. Well, this is the next time I'm in Kingston. Unfortunately, Tommy passed away not too long ago. But I keep my promises, So I had to make sure I went there and chugged a beer. And I did. And actually, I had some food, and the food was really nice. And there was this awesome, there's so many dogs there. And there's so many dogs there. And I was like, I love it. And this one dog kind of sidled up to me while I was eating my Reuben. So I was feeding this dog, and it was a really good moment hanging out with me and my buddy Ben. What do we got here? We got a Barbara. I'm going to butcher your name, Barbara. Kunigal. I'm up in the air on what your name is, but thank you for stopping by. Try Sterling Pig in Westchester, PA. Is that a brewery? I don't get to Westchester often. But my niece went to Westchester University. For those who don't know, Westchester is kind of like, I don't know. It's like west of Philly. It's kind of like, but not like right outside Philly, but it's a nice area. One of the nicest Wegmans I've ever been to is in Westchester. So, I will see if I can find any of their stuff. And she's throwing down emojis, sad emojis, and perfects, and yeah, big guns. There you go. Anyway, so I met up with my buddy Ben. We had some beers. We hung out. We ate, and he gave me an insane amount of beer. Like an insane amount of beer. He actually said, he's like, can I give you some beer when you come up? I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's fine. He gave me like 4 cases 4 cases, and they're not like 24 bottles per case kind of thing, but 4 cases of like not just beer, but just like barrel aged monstrosities. Like he gave me not 1, not 2, but 3 verticals of Rushing Ducks Part Series, like Part 3. Like these are 750 barrel aged just monster jams, and he gave me like the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, and he gave me like 3 sets of that. He gave me a bunch of old like JW Lee's, Thomas Hardy, a bunch of old bangers, like a complete minus like 2020 like Bigfoot vertical from like 2012 or 13 and on, like an insane amount of like barley wine, basically old ageable beer. I actually got kind of concerned about him. I was like, is there something wrong? Are you dying? Are you quitting beer? He's like, nah. He's like, I just, he worked in the beer industry for so long, and he just wanted to get rid of some. So me being like, I'm just gonna bring in a little bit of stuff, BeerTuberPalooza, and yeah, and now I'm like 3 cases deep. Stop at Suarez, got beer there, and then Friday early, man, I actually got up mad early, and I had time to kill, so I had a nice little breakfast out that way, and it was so early, I just had time to kill, so I took this really pretty route over the Catskill Mountains into Albany, because you can pretty much run through the Catskills. And I was like, okay, let me hug the river, hug the Hudson, and just go over the Catskills. And it was a really pretty ride. I have a lot of videos of me like talking to the camera. I don't know if I'm going to post them because I'm kind of doing that now, but we'll see. But it was just a really beautiful trip. I ended up getting to Albany quite early. Like most people are arriving at 3-4 in the afternoon. I'm there at like 10 a.m. I went to a bottle shop, found some fun stuff, and then just was like text Kyle from the Hype, and I was like, let's catch lunch, and he's like, sounds like a plan. He had stuff to do till about like 11-ish, so I kind of went to Schmaltz Brewing, had a beer or whatever, just kind of like killing time. He's like, okay, let's grab a beer, not grab a beer, let's grab lunch. I ordered Cardona's Deli. Someone told me I have to order in Instagram. I'm sorry, I forget the name right now, but they're like, you gotta go here, you gotta go there, and you gotta go to Cardona's and get a sandwich. And I was like, okay, Kyle. I'm like, tell me what you want to eat. We'll go to this deli and we'll rip some sandwiches. And they say it takes like a half an hour. I don't know why it takes a half an hour to make a hoagie. But they're like, okay, we'll meet there and then our food will be ready. Wrong. Fucking wrong. We met there and they're like, okay, your food will be ready in an hour. So we went to Delaware Supply, which I mentioned previously that I definitely wanted to hit while I was there. And that is honestly one of my favorite tap rooms I've been in. The owners, the young couple, they just dig on like just like kind of like traditional drinkable beer. There's a bunch of stuff to be had there. I ended up drinking Petite Princess from Thriz and Jester King, which is a 2.9, son, 2.9% hop forward, but more like Belgian table beer, but hop forward. That beer, I love that beer. I've never seen it ever available like over the counter. Like every time I've had that beer, it's been somebody who like brought it because they bought it at Jester King or something like that. And I was like, okay, this weekend's gonna be awesome. I had that, and then I had De La Sen, man, my new gaming computer goes like ape shit on heat every now and then. I gotta troll my fans a little bit, or you probably hear that. But the Terrace Bulba, so delicious. While we were there, we had a couple people actually be like, hey, this young gentleman came up. I actually don't remember his name. I'm sorry, brother. He was like, oh, are you the guy that does the stuff on YouTube? And I was like, yes, I am. And I was like, that guy does too, to Kyle. And he's like, oh, wait a minute, you do this stuff too. And he was a super nice guy, just beer nerds. Obviously, he's in a beer nerd spot. And chatted with him for like a half an hour, and then he was like, okay, I gotta go do stuff, and he left. And immediately Matt, who I actually DM'd with on Instagram, He's like, I DM'd you on Instagram about getting you mystery beers. Just happened to be in the area when we were there, so he stopped by. We chugged some beers with him, got our food, and went along our way. I ended up meeting a bunch of the guys at a local joint called Albany Oyster and Ale, ate some oysters, drank some beers, went back and did the whole, beer tube or debauchery thing. Next morning, we actually went to an awesome, honestly, the awesomest, farmer's market I ever went to, and ate a bunch of food and walked around and found a bunch of stuff. Very cool. Hit up a brewery called Warbler Brewing. I never had anything from them. I think Joe's from Joe's Arcade has done some stuff from them before, so go check his stuff out. But went to Warbler, then went back to Delaware Supply to have a quick beer, and really just kind of crushed it at the Airbnb we were all staying at. It was the group of us was Keith and Katie, 93 Lumber, my boy, and his woman Katie, my boy Joe, used to do beer stuff on our NEP beer reviews, but now works at a brewery. Him and Amanda. And then it was, Kyle from the Hype, the Nerd Sense guys, Joe for the Beer Patrol, the FLX guys, Jesse from Bumpy Road Brews, Tanner from East Coast Liquor Reviews, and we just kind of went bonkers and just did beer stuff pretty much all Friday and Saturday. I had a really good time. I had some really great beers, and just I kind of was a little bit more chill this year. I wasn't trying to drive the show as much. It was pretty much Kyle's kind of thing. I found myself several times just sitting back and just enjoying people having a blast. But I have some reviews to post, so it should be pretty fun. Today, Sunday, I actually woke up, went to Fidens, interviewed Steve from Fidens. They have an anniversary coming up this week, their 3rd year. So if you're in the area, go check it out. And meandered home, man. Stopped at Ober Creek. I've always wanted to stop there, and I was quite impressed with their beers. Got, I don't know, about an hour outside of home, and the Dolphins-Bills game was finishing. So I stopped at Equilibrium and watched the end of it there. And it was bonkers because the Dolphins won. And it was a weird ending, but who cares? Because the Dolphins won. And then came home, and I'm exhausted. I am smart enough now in my older age to know enough to take extra days, so I don't have work tomorrow. So I will be relaxing with the family, who I had missed infinitely the whole time. My first trip away from my son, Micah, since he was born, essentially. So it was a little bit hard in that aspect, but I got all day tomorrow to look forward to, so it should be pretty fun. Anyway, there's your quick recap. I may post some more stuff, some travel stuff, whatever. But really, we want to do this unboxing. So Steven, per traditional Steven, always brings a box of beer for the beer tubers in question. This is mine. I have no idea what's in it. It's not sealed, but I didn't look yet. I didn't look. So let's see what the sucker has to offer. Yeah. Okay. First off is a can. As I threw it. Okay. I have not had a no filter in a while. It's double no filter from Tom Sucker. Double dry hop, double IPA. Every time I've had this beer, or its little brethren, I've loved it quite a bit. So thank you very much, brother. Actually, let's do that's not going to work. This thing's packed with beer. A little tree house, a little juice machine. Hell yeah, brother. Date on this is 8/11. It is 9. It's almost 10, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. That's a great label right there. Yeah. Rippers. Mystery beers. Mystery beers with a, it looks like a menu. I don't know if that's the right way. No, it's probably going to be. There you go. Wings. Yeah, it's got a menu on it. I dig it, Steven. I'm loving the new school mystery vibes. Rove. Farmhouse Pale Ale. Fox Farm. Steven was kind enough to pick up a proxy order of Fox Farm for all of us while we were there. So he had a lot of beer in his car. Farmhouse say on the can, from the soils come the spoils. I'm not going to read it because I'm tired. That's what you get. That's a cool label. New Park Powder Wit Beer. I don't know if I've had this before. But look at that label, man. That's killer stuff right there. I am very, very much a fan of that. Okay, mystery beer again. And this one's a circular from it's FYI not a small, FYI not a small beer. So it's a stovepipe can, 1050 barrel aged, something along those lines. I have no idea. But I appreciate it. He's not tipping his cap, but it's like sometimes I just don't want mystery beers. Again, little pizza and wings. Non-mystery beer. We have a little bit of the greenest of green, son. There you go. Treehouse Jams. Oh, another mystery beer. And I believe that's it. Not that we'd expect more. That's a great box. A bunch of mystery beers. We got a 1, 2, 3, 4 mystery beers. Treehouse Jams. You okay, bud? So you can't see them, but my dogs are in here. My dogs are never in here. But I've been gone for 3 days. And they're like freaking out that I haven't been here. So like when I like go in my back room here, I have like a baby gate, so Micah can't come in. And like they're just standing there staring at me. Like they never do that. Just I was like, can we come in? So I let them in here. And my dog Meek is right here, and my dog Taco's right here, and he makes weird noises every now and then. Anyway, this is awesome. Thank you, brother. You know, he doesn't have to do this. You know, we bring so much and leave with so much when it comes to BeerTuberPalooza, but Steven can't help himself but be the awesomest of awesomeness, especially when it comes to all this kind of stuff. So thank you very much, brother. Pumped about all of it. Mystery beer is obviously the best, but you're talking about cool Treehouse Jams, little Fox Farm up this piece, little hookers, a little bit of New Park. It's been a while. That was the original jams from Steven, so thank you very much, brother. Going to go through the comments real quick, then I'm going to go watch the rest of the foosball game. Barbara chiming in again saying her daughter goes to Westchester. Christine Vrusen said, go Micah. Hell yeah, go Micah. Barbara actually mentioning again Iron Horse Brew. Our friends own this one. You may have visited this one already. I don't know. I'll have to see. Iron Horse. I don't know if I've been to Iron Horse. Been to River Horse. I think I've heard of Iron Horse. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But thank you all for stopping by. Very much appreciate it. Thank you very much, Steven, for all these beers. Thank you, everybody that came to BeerTuberPalooza, from, like I said, Tanner to Jesse to Mike and Dan and Joe and Joe and Joe and Joe and Joe and Sean and Kyle and everybody involved, man. Keith, Katie, Amanda, everybody. Thank you very much for giving the funnest times to the oldest of peoples, because I am old and this shit is hard now. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this not so quick update. We're at 23 minutes. I'm out of here. And we will see you